The tax tug-of-war is in full swing as the heads of government meet in Sydney. State premiers are divided on how to fund Australia's growing healthcare costs through increasing the GST or the Medibank levy. Analysts say households will need relief if taxes are raised, but that leaves less to cover the healthcare budget hole. It was an issue too hot to handle for the Reserve Bank Governor, Glenn Stevens. Here's finance correspondent Philip Lasker.
Australia's leaders can at least walk and stand in a straight line, but there's not too much uniformity beyond that. There's agreement on the need to fund rapidly rising health costs, but do you increase the Medicare levy or the GST?
Whenever you raise taxes, you do take money out of the economy. So this isn't an easy fix. It's not like there's this pool of money you can just grab and it not have economic effects.
Increasing the GST may hurt the limited household spending revival, which is needed to help the economy transition from the mining boom. Accountants have joined the long list of lobby groups calling for an increase in the GST.
The only way that could be done responsibly and appropriately without damaging the economy is to ensure that there are tax cuts as part of a compensation package, and there's also compensation for those outside the tax system, and that would be by way of welfare payments.
But that leaves much less money to meet the rising cost of healthcare.
Well, increasing the GST to 15% of itself won't meet the costs of healthcare anyway, so on the current base. They really need to have a look at what the base is, and they need to look at, again, a package where we look at retiring inefficient state taxes and also look at compensation for those both in the workforce and outside the workforce.
According to CPA Australia, increasing the GST to 15% would raise $30.5 billion in 2020, but that's before any changes to inefficient state taxes or tax cuts. If state taxes are removed, that leaves $7.5 billion for healthcare and income tax cuts. New South Wales will have a $20 billion shortfall. But no matter how you cut it, retailers who collect this tax don't want their customers to bear the burden without some form of compensation.
If there are going to be increases in some areas, we do need compensation or offsets in other areas, whether that be in personal income tax or in business taxes.
Talk of tax hikes came against a backdrop of questions about Australia's economic growth. Reserve Bank Governor Glenn Stevens observed that households were more cautious and the economy had slowed, yet jobs were being created and unemployment was virtually steady, raising questions about what is considered Australia's normal growth rate.
Maybe trend output growth isn't 3 or 3.25 anymore, the way we've been assuming for a long time. Maybe it's lower than that now.
A view that would have profound implications for Joe Hockey's freshly minted federal budget.
If there were assumptions about absolute growth rates embedded in, say, business strategies or fiscal strategies or retirement income plans, then they'd need to be re-examined. I suspect this is going to turn out to be an important discussion. What is Australia's potential economic growth rate per head and why?
On other burning questions around tax reform, the Governor was not about to worry about tax hikes and their impact on the economy.
I don't know that there's going to be big impacts from a kind of cycle management point of view that we would need to worry about. I could be wrong about that, but my assumption would be that we would be talking, if these changes were to occur, about them being phased in over a reasonably lengthy period.
Perhaps after this man has left the scene.